Hello, everyone, and welcome to this AACT Industry Connection webinar. Today we are with representatives from ThunderTix. We've got Dawn Green with us and Stacy Chapman. Ladies, thank you for joining us. And if you do have any questions along the way, participants, put them in the Q&A and we will get to those at the end. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you guys to start your presentation.
All right. Thank you, Jamie, and thank you everybody for being here. And a particular thanks to AACT for putting together these webinars that have been very important to all of us that are involved in live performance. Excuse me. My name is Dawn Green. I am the founder of ThunderTix, event management platform, helping mostly live performance or performing arts venues, manage fundraising, patron relationships, and of course the box office. And we're going to talk a little bit about what we might be able to do for you as you begin to think about reopening, hopefully soon. First, a little bit about myself. My background is in computer engineering. I have been writing code for 20 years and been running ThunderTix for the last 20. Stacy, I'd like you to introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is Stacy Chapman. I am a managing partner here at ThunderTix. I've been here for over 15 years. During that time, I have worked in so many different roles, but my favorite by far is working in the design and changes to the platform with our product manager and our engineering team to build out new features and functions based on the needs of our clients. And with that, in my time here, I have probably spoken to pretty much every single client we have ever worked with at one time or another. With that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Back to you, Dawn.
Okay. All right. So I talked a little bit about my background. One of the things that I don't have experience in is running a theater. However, I've been a seasoned subscriber to many different types of performing arts over the last couple of decades, including 15 years at Zach Scott Community Theater here in Austin. This is my daughter, who describes herself as a theater nerd and a speech and debate nerd. And she's been a big part of my passion that has developed over time. And this is her high school, one of her primary parts, roles. So, excuse me, what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about what we're trying to do to help venues reopen. And first, before I do that, I want to talk about what has to change. I think for those of you who have operated without an online ticketing platform, I really don't think it has much of a path going forward. There are too many tools available with online ticketing softwares that are essential. People are not coming down to your box offices anymore to buy tickets in advance, and they want to be able to see where they're going to be sitting. Another thing that is out is playbills and currency. Digital playbills will be the wave of the next, for at least the next several months. And regardless of how you feel about masks and your locale, having masks, no masks on staff is going to be absolutely out of the question. You're going to lose patrons that will see that and walk right back out the door. And another thing that happens with online ticketing is that you have an opportunity to share messaging about your sanitization procedures and other safeguards that you have in place. Excuse me. And the biggest thing, in order to reopen, patrons need to feel safe. And and one of the ways that we can do that is by actually, I got ahead of myself there. I apologize. Hang on, I'm trying to follow Stacy's screens and mine, excuse me. With the smaller staffs today, back in March, when COVID first began, we had layoffs happening, and at the same time shows were canceling. And our clients did not know, had too few people trying to process batch refunds and so on. So one of the first things that we did back then, and a lot of ticketing softwares look for ways that they could help their clients, but we added in the communication and the messaging every opportunity for clients to help themselves. They can self-exchange their own tickets. They can donate their ticket proceeds back to your theater. They could transfer their money to a gift card for future reference or to gift to somebody else. And then for the smaller staffs, we also wanted to make sure that they had the ability to perform batch refunds to a gift card and hopefully hang on to those revenues. With that, Stacy, I'd like you to talk a little bit about seating.
Definitely. So yes, let's talk about reserve seating and social distancing. You know, the biggest challenge and the biggest fear that patrons have to coming back into in-person events is really a fear of the unknown. You know, they're wondering, what is the venue going to look like? How much space is there going to be between myself and the next patron? So what we have here, so for organizations that have been doing events in open seating or general admission, it's really a time to consider potentially using reserve seating rather than open seating, because reserve seating answers all of those questions. You know, or as patrons have an opportunity to see the venue visually and answer those questions. So what we're looking at here is an example of one way to handle social distancing, where as an organization, you can preset which seats are going to be open and which seats are going to be removed for social distance. So this is a preset configuration where we have groups of available seats shown in blue and the socially distanced seats in gray. But while this works, it requires a ton of manual oversight. You know, in an example here to the right in row B, you know, it's really difficult to ensure that somebody who's buying a single seat doesn't take up a seat that was intended for a party of 4, and then you're having to shift things around. So we wanted to take away the logistics of those seat configurations so that you all can just focus on your event. Back in May, it's been a while already, we were the first ticketing company in the country to launch automated social distancing. So what we're looking at here from this animation, you can see that we have a patron who's selecting 5 seats in the center of the venue. And at the time of purchase, our system's going to automatically socially distance the seats up to 4 seats around that patron to ensure that there's safe space between them and the next patron. At the same time, we have another person buying a single seat. And again, the system automatically adjusts and blocks out the seats to their right. Now let's talk about table seating. And actually one last thing about social distancing. You know, the biggest benefit of social distancing compared to that first option that we saw is that it allows you to adjust for any sized party. You don't have to guess your configurations in advance. It doesn't matter if it's a single or a party of 5 like we saw there. The system's going to automatically adjust to any size. So in table seating, you know, in the past, customers always bought tickets with community seating. I'd buy a couple tickets, somebody else would buy a few tickets to the table until the table's capacity was met. Well, that's not an option today. Because we have to make sure that households are separated by tables. So the challenge is that you could end up losing revenue. Let's say you have, for example, a 2-top that ends up selecting a table of 4. The challenge with that is that in order to keep households separated, you would have to block out the other 2 seats at your 4-top, and you end up losing the revenue from those 2 seats at the table to block them out. So we came up with a solution that would prevent the revenue loss. So in this case, we're looking at right here, when I select 1 seat, it's automatically going to select every seat at the table. You can optionally require that all seats at the table are purchased when you buy any seat at the table. So you're buying out the whole table. The benefit of this is it really encourages those like a party of two, to either find a table that's more appropriate to them, like the two top over here to the left, or maybe they would consider, if they want to buy that one table that's right in front of the stage as the foretop, that they could bring some of their family with them from their own household at the same time. The result is that you don't end up losing out on revenue from tables that were intended for larger parties. And on that, I'm going to let Dawn talk to you all about avoiding crowded lobbies.
Okay, so as important as it is to keep people safe distances apart within your theater, it's just as important for people to feel comfortable as they enter your space. So we want to avoid crowded common areas, and this is particularly important for your volunteers, many of them who are older and may be reluctant to come back. So what we've done is we have an ingress or entry planning tool. It is a traffic control planner that allows you to create time slots at which groups of patrons can enter, and you can even set a capacity on those. So for example, let's say that you had an 8 o'clock show and you want to allow people to come in starting at 7 o'clock in 10-minute increments. You can set a capacity of, say, 20 people. And in the screen that we have up, you can see that somebody during the purchase process is able to choose the time slot that's most convenient for them to arrive. And once that limit is reached, that capacity that you've preset is reached, we remove that from consideration for future ticket buyers. And this helps your ushers to be able to bring in groups of patrons that are waiting outside or in larger common spaces so that you can bring them in more safely with social distance available to them because you've avoided crowding. Another thing that we suggest that you do is look at ways that you can avoid queues at your concession stands. So we suggest selling what most of our venues are doing is have a very limited selection of similarly priced options in food and beverage. When your patrons are selecting their tickets and their ingress time, they can also pre-purchase some of their food and beverage options. The good thing about this in conjunction with ingress planning is as people are arriving, you can have these prepaid concessions ready. As each group comes in, you can hand over their food and beverages and quickly usher them to their seats. Some people are going to forget to buy concessions in advance. And so they will want to purchase at the concession stand, or even for that matter, they may be buying tickets on the night of the show. Currency is no longer an option, and person-to-person contact, which in this case might be through a credit card, also needs to be discouraged. And so we support contactless or touchless payments. This is just like as if you are at a supermarket and you are using the self-checkout. You never have to hand over your credit card to the cashier. You're able to process your own payment. Also, a lot of you are experimenting with different genres to bring in a younger audience. And so we may as well meet this younger millennial audience in areas that they're more comfortable. And one of those is Apple Pay and Google Pay. I remember the first time I saw it was about 4 years ago. I was with my daughter and she was buying tacos and I didn't have a wallet, and she whipped out her phone and paid with Apple Pay. And so we looked at how do we incorporate this into ThunderTix. And so this is just another way of making millennials feel comfortable along with your chosen genres. Continuing on the theme of contactless or touchless, I'd like Stacy to talk a little bit about what we're doing in order to minimize contact when it comes to the tickets themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, today there's definitely been a shift from having printed paper tickets that you're picking up at will call. And the goal is at this time to create that contactless experience to shift towards electronic. In that same vein, earlier this year, because of COVID, we went ahead and extracted the barcodes that we had typically been printing on the printed home ticket and the thermal tickets that you might have printed off to your BOCA thermal ticket printer. And so we've included these barcodes at the bottom of every confirmation email receipt so that patrons are getting their barcodes without having to download and print out tickets or pick anything up. And the benefit of that is that when they come to the show to get entrance, all they have to do is pull up their phone, show their email, and the ushers or volunteers that are scanning tickets at the door can use our free iOS and Android apps. So it can be a phone-to-phone scan, super fast and efficient, gets people through the door quickly, and continues in a contactless experience. So, like it or not, virtual events seem to be here to stay, at least for the immediate future. Because of that fact, we integrated virtual again earlier this year when everything was shifting and events were canceling. It's gained in popularity. It's a great way to keep in contact with your audience. So first off, we created some clear visual cues to let you know that when an event is virtual, as you can see here with the blue banner, any event that's virtual shows up separately and differently than those that are in person, so that there's no confusion about somebody accidentally showing up to your venue. In addition, we integrated a free video service right into ThunderTix as in an attempt to save you costs to not have to buy other services. And that service is embedded right into ThunderTix from the video. The links for the virtual events are automatically handled and sent through the platform, and to ensure that it can't be shared. At the same time, we're all familiar with Zoom, and it is the most popular, so we integrated with Zoom as well. That's done where anytime you're selling tickets to an event to monetize those virtual events, those event attendees are automatically going to be registered for your Zoom webinar as a unique registrant, and Zoom is going to end up sending them the unique registrant URL. So it can't be shared, it's private. And lastly, it doesn't matter what kind of streaming service you're using. With our automated email reminder service, you can withhold your virtual link until an hour or two before the event and have that sent out if there's some other platform that you prefer to use. With that, I'm going to let Dawn talk about pay what you can pricing.
All right, and before I begin, I see that Carol has asked a question. No, ThunderTix will accept whatever payment, vouchers, checks, cash. We're discouraging the use of cash just to limit person-to-person contact. It's more, look, your patrons may prefer it, but if you have messaging on the checkout process, if your emails, your marketing emails are saying we're discouraging the use of currency, it is for the safety of everybody, but we will still allow it. And hopefully we'll have an opportunity to return to it when times are safer. To pay what you can pricing, pay what you will, whatever acronym you use, we allow you to set a floor price, a suggested minimum, and then patrons can increase the price they pay, hopefully as a result of the value that they believe they'll receive from your events. This is particularly important, I think, as a lot of our clients are trying experimental genres to reach younger audiences. Maybe you've been doing a lot of monologues done before, you're not sure how to price them. Same thing with virtual. A lot of our clients have a traditional in-person event, and then they're also streaming it as a virtual option, but they're not sure how to price that. And pay what you can pricing allows you to set that $5 or $10 minimum price, and then patrons can pay what they'd like. What has been a pleasant surprise for us is we have seen for many of our venues, they are 50% or more of the patrons purchasing tickets are paying above the asking price. And this is important as we're doing everything we can to cover the cost for a particular show, that you're actually getting in a little bit more than you anticipated. Another thing I'd like to talk about is donations. For some people, your ticketing platform may allow you to offer fundraising. Some of you may be using an external platform that maybe you're not even utilizing the full feature set. Might be a good time to reassess some of those costs that you're paying for external services and see what your ticketing software can provide, like the virtual integration that we offer for free. Fundraising with ThunderTix comes at no extra charge. We've been committed at charging nothing for 2020 through the end of the year for fundraising. And honestly, it is the best time for you to solicit donations. You can ask people to make their donations recurring at the time of checkout when they're purchasing tickets, or donate to specific fundraisers. But the favorite feature of our clients is the round up option. You can gently suggest your patrons round up their ticket purchase to add a few dollars as a donation at the conclusion of their order. And for some of our venues, it has been an unexpected boon, especially for 2020. And some of our venues have collected thousands of dollars that they had not anticipated. So in sum, that really wraps it up. What I think a lot of ticketing softwares are doing right now is doing everything they can to try to help you all stay alive. And we all have a vested interest, just like AACT does, in making sure that we help you all safely reopen. And so we're trying to do that with a lot of automation to help you during your reduced staff. And then we also are always listening to our clients. We have a feature request page where all of our clients are able to input their ideas and everybody gets to vote. And it has really been the reason that many of the features that we've implemented this year have come about. It is through ideas of our clients and people like you. Let's see. Beth, you've asked about reporting. ThunderTix has more reports than I can. We do have a video, and we have a video tutorial library. And I think that I'm not sure if it's out of date. I'm hoping not. Give me a chance to look at it. But if you do a Google search for ThunderTix and video tutorials, there is one on reporting. It is not exhaustive, but we have everything from the ability to search patron histories, including order histories, live bunt, side bunt, or anything related to donations. And of course, all the settlement reports for nightly or nightly reconciliations. That about wraps it up for me. And Stacy, are there any comments you want to add?
Yeah, just that, as you can see, I'm going through a few of the quotes that have come in from our own clients during this time. We really have tried to, treat not even tried, we feel like we are partners with all of the theaters that we're working with during this time. I'm sure that you probably received in the email from AACT, just to recap. Anybody who is an AACT partner or member, anybody who's joined this webinar tonight, just as a reminder, we are offering totally free seating chart setup for social distancing and a free customer import from any other, whether it's an Excel spreadsheet that you've just been tracking or another previous ticketing platform. We're offering special pricing on additional seating charts. And as always, we always offer 10% discount on the monthly service for AACT members. The link below, thundertix.com/AACT, does have that discounted link for AACT members.
And as far as I see a question here on using the virtual presentation, you can use whatever software you want. Our automated reminders will allow you to send out links to Facebook Live or whatever software you're using. We are not, you're not beholden to any particular type of virtual event software, although we do offer one free of charge. I would say that the primary use that our clients have used it for are staff meetings and board meetings, because it it saves $60 a month from using a webinar software like Zoom. And one last comment on Stacy's import. We do allow you to import from any whatever, whether you've been on with another platform or you've been tracking everything on Excel spreadsheets. We will import full patron histories, including all their orders and their donations, so that our reporting can be used in conjunction with your data. And I think that's it. If there's any other questions,
All right.
we have no contracts, and you can love us or leave us, and we hope that you love us. So.
All right. Well, that's some really good information, not just about what you guys can do, but just in general. I want to say you really appreciate the information you guys were sharing about expectations of audiences and patrons. Like if they walk in your building and they don't see everyone wearing a mask, they're going to turn around and walk right back out. We've certainly seen that at our organization that I run. Not that they've turned around and walked out, that they've told us that they appreciate all the safety precautions and the communication as well. So that's really important as we move forward for the next several months. Are there any additional questions? Put them in the chat and we will get to them. We've got about 4 minutes left in this webinar. I do want to say, ask, what about just for you guys? What is your time frame on payments? What's your payouts?
Yeah, so for us, we actually don't collect payments on behalf of the theaters, and we look at that as a multifaceted benefit in that you get to choose your own payment gateway. We recommend Stripe, but essentially when you have your own payment gateway, you connect that to your preferred checking account. All of the funds for ticket proceeds and donations are deposited nightly to that preferred checking account. It never comes through us. So there's never any waiting for funds for events to take place. And especially, I know there are some systems out there that will hold those funds throughout the duration of a season until every last show in the season pass was watched before the season pass revenue was released. And so for us, you're going to get that revenue every single day.
We've got another question that came in from Elizabeth. She says, how does one contact customer support? Phone, email, online chat, passenger pigeon?
Elizabeth, I'd like to answer that. First of all, I will say that ThunderTix pricing is the most competitive in the industry. I'll put it right out there. 79 cents per ticket is the maximum you will pay. There is no percentage of your revenue. A lot of software companies now capture a portion of your own revenue. We do not do that, regardless of what your ticket price is. In order to do that, most of our support is online. However, if you do a search on for ThunderTix and reviews, you will see that the single most consistent bit of feedback that we get that we're doing it right is that our customer service is stellar. Most of our support requests are answered within 15 minutes, and we are available 24/7. That's primarily because some of our team cannot sleep at night, including moi. And I am just as involved in support as the rest of my team. We do have options for an upgrade if you'd like to pay for phone support, but we will always pick up the phone when it is with respect to money that you're concerned about or some of your more critical needs. And I think that, and the cost of the service, it's based on 79 cents per ticket. That's it. And we don't take a percentage of donations. We don't take a percentage of revenue, and you can cancel at any time.
And just to add on that, one of the things that makes ThunderTix unique is the fact that we're not passing on a fee to your patrons. However, we do give you the total control to add a fee that other ticketing software or platforms are charging. So if you want to add a really nominal $1 per ticket, not only does it cover 100% of your costs with ThunderTix, but it even covers part of your costs for credit card processing. And whatever you charge in fees, you keep every penny out.
All right. Well, I think that we are coming up right at 1:30 Central Time here. Are there any other questions to drop into the chat here? I just want to ask you guys one quick thing is, what are you guys hearing from your clients who have started doing shows in person again or inside, for those of us who are in the cold northern reaches of the country? What are they saying? Are people coming back? Are they just, what are you kind of hearing?
I would say most of our clients are not doing virtual. A lot of them have tried it with varying degrees of success, but some of them have been successful. So for some of our venues, they are offering that hybrid performance where they're selling tickets to both traditional and virtual performances. I would say that most of our venues are not actively putting on shows month to month, but a few of them are. I think that the warmer climates have been a little bit more fortunate with the good weather, but even in Canada, we have some Canadian venues that have done fairly well, and that may be because their COVID situation was a little bit better than the United States. So I think it's all over the map, Jamie.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap us up then. We got one quick question that popped in. So is the 79 cents charged to the theater? Do you offer the credit card options you might have mentioned earlier and they missed it?
Stacy, take it.
Yeah, so when you work with a company like Stripe as a payment gateway, you're going to be able to accept all major credit cards. We charge for our service on a monthly basis. It's a monthly subscription, so you are paying for ThunderTix service each month based on that 79 cents. It's based on the number of tickets you sell each month. So then the fees themselves for credit card processing, that's going to come out from Stripe. They're going to deduct those fees every night as a part of those direct deposits. But the cost for ThunderTix is charged monthly to your own, whatever credit card you put on file. And I do want to add one more thing on today's webinar. We do have a PDF document if you wanted to download it. It's on our homepage, just on things to consider for safe reopenings.
All right. Well, I think that is going to probably wrap us up here. And I know that this webinar will be also available. It's being recorded, and so it will be available. I think Winston will send everyone a link to it, and also it will be on the AACT website. And a quick reminder, if you're not a member of AACT, do so, because webinars like this and some of the other things that we've been offering, panelist roundtables, and other events coming up are made possible thanks to support from viewers like you. No, this isn't PBS, but from members like you. All right, so thank you very much, Dawn and Stacy, for joining us. And I think that will do it.
Thank you, Jamie and AACT. Appreciate your all's commitment to the industry.
Thank you.